Well, it is October the 7th. 1 year ago, horrible terrorist attacks in the nation of Israel. Hundreds murdered. Hostages taken away. Some of those hostages may still be alive today, but nobody's quite sure who's alive and who's not. But it's a tense day in Israel. We're going to go to Israel live now. In fact, my next guest is just outside of Jerusalem, Jonathan Feldstein. He is the president of Genesis 123 Foundation. He has two sons actively serving in the Israeli Defense Forces on this very tense day. Sir, thank you for being here.
Steve, good morning. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. It is a very tense day.
You know, what hour is it there in Israel?
It's 2:34 in the afternoon.
And so far, quiet?
Oh, no. Oh, no. There have been, I haven't counted, but all day there have been not just rockets from Lebanon, and there was one that hit in Haifa in the north, but...
the reason I asked that, Jonathan, very little reporting over here on what's happening there. That's why I put it out there that way. And people, can we trust the national or international news media to give us honest appraisals of what's going on in places like Israel?
No, look, at best, there's a tremendous lack of perspective, and that's forgivable to a degree. But to be honest, there's a tremendous lack of caring, tremendous amount of bending over backwards that everything has to be equal. What we suffered a year ago, what we're still suffering, all Israelis to one degree or another are still exhibiting elements of trauma. And I believe for most of the rest of our lives, even my young grandchildren will be exhibiting trauma. And I think that there's an unwritten rule that if Jews and Israelis are being killed, then that's okay. And Jews have to defend themselves. And then we're told how we're allowed to defend ourselves and what we can, where red lines are. But no, the media at best doesn't give perspective, doesn't have depth, and is looking for moral equivalency. And there is no moral equivalency. This is black and white. It is good versus evil.
Yeah. I mean, the only, and I'm looking here online, and it shows, deadliest attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Well, they're talking about a year ago. They're not talking about today and the ongoing attacks and Hezbollah and the problems with Iran. And Israel is going to respond to Iran. It's almost, it's a foregone conclusion. So this war that you're dealing with from the front lines, Jonathan, isn't going away anytime soon, is it?
No, it's not. It's the tentacles of the Iranian octopus are in our faces now with rockets of the son, the friend of one of my son's very good friends was killed over the weekend by a Katbam, a drone that came from Iraq. But in our faces, we're dealing with Hezbollah all across Lebanon. Still today, a year later, they still have enough rockets in Gaza to hit the Tel Aviv area. And that's what was done just a little while ago. And the Houthis in Yemen, no, this is not going away soon. And as painful as it has been, and as painful as it will be, honestly, I think a lot, if not most Israelis, believe that we need to just take it to the head of the snake. We need to take out all of the threat that's based in Tehran. And once that happens, not only will the threat to us wither, but the world will be a safer place, and almost 90 million Iranians can have their country back that was hijacked nearly 46 years ago.
Pretty remarkable, Jonathan, as you sit here and you watch what's happening. There's also the political fallout in the United States, because this does have political implications in America for the upcoming presidential election. People are already voting. I had Jake Novak on in the last hour. He said in states like Pennsylvania, the Jewish vote is a powerful one. And as many as 40% of the Jewish voters are now leaving the Democrat Party because of their equivocating, their oscillating, their lack of ability to stand on principle. What do you say to that?
Thank God. I have my absentee ballot on the table here. We're all proud Americans and voting actively. This is the first time me, my wife, and all 6 of my children are eligible to vote in the U.S., and we are. But we have to be very black and white. I've never, ever been a single issue voter. But if American Jews feel uncomfortable, and it shouldn't be just Jews, by the way, Americans to be uncomfortable with the equivocating, with the fact that under Obama first and Biden and Harris, we've seen the Iranian regime funded to the tune of tens of billions of dollars, and we're seeing the dividends of that in Israel today.
Donald
And
Trump
they
had
want
just about bankrupted them. Donald Trump had taken their money through sanctions and so forth, and all of that money got reconstituted. Billions of dollars released. Oh, it'll never be used that way. The oil is flowing $2 billion a day, I believe, is what that comes out to. It's a remarkable amount of money that this administration has not only allowed, but has basically cheerleaded. It is unbelievable and unforgivable as far as I don't know. Here's what's confusing me, Jonathan, and I'm glad you've got your absentee ballots there. How could anybody vote for the Democrats as a Jew in America today? It makes no sense to me.
Well, we can go into a longer conversation why, since Roosevelt, most American Jews have voted Democratic. But look, anyone who cares about the well-being, not just of Israel and the Jewish people here and what that means for Western civilization, but just the security of their own Jewish communities, their own synagogues. Since I left the United States 20 years ago, the amount of security that Jews have had to, the amount of money that Jews have had to invest in security in front of their schools and synagogues and Jewish community centers is unprecedented in the world. And that can't be allowed to continue to exist. So,
yeah. And the incident of anti-Semitic attacks in America up hundreds and hundreds of percent over the last couple of years. And then you see these attacks on college campuses where Jewish students are afraid to go to class and find themselves barricaded inside rooms because there are protesters outside. And these universities side with the protesters. Well, they have a right to free speech. Well, don't those Jewish students have a right to safety? I mean, it is appalling to me, Jonathan, absolutely appalling. I'll give you the last word.
Well, for anyone, we've been doing so much here, and I really want to just ask people to check out our website, Solution for Peace in Gaza. We're not just fighting a war at the Genesis 123 Foundation and here in Israel. We're really trying to come up with solutions, and we're asking Jews and Christians and anyone of good conscience to go to solutionforpeaceingaza.com and help us be part of what actually can be a true solution for peace. So my 3-week-old grandson doesn't have to go into Gaza 20 years from now and fight 20-year-olds who are continuing to be raised on genocidal Islamic hate.
Jonathan, thank you for being here. We wish you the best today, and please stay safe.
Thank you, Steve. God bless you.
Really appreciate it. God bless you. A day of violence in Israel. A day of violence. And I started this conversation with, everything's quiet. Because to be here, you wouldn't really know what's happening on the ground in Israel. He knew. That's why we bring you the truth here. That's why I ask you to follow me on Twitter, support us on Substack by becoming a paid subscriber of the Steve Gruber Show. It is how we keep the message out there, how we do truth. When the mainstream media turns its back on such things as truth and integrity, we stand at the forefront. Speak up and be heard, I say. Speak up and be heard. I'll be back.